Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave. I'm a proud American from my birth to the grave. 47's the top, took a bullet for all. Didn't flinch, didn't run, still he answered the call. And we said, be tight, be tight, be tight. Officer Tatum show. Be tight, be tight, be tight. Officer Tatum show. Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave. I'm a proud American from my birth to the grave. 47's the top, took a bullet for all. Didn't flinch, didn't run, still he answered the call. And we said, be tight, be tight, be tight. Officer Tatum show. Be tight, be tight, be tight. Officer Tatum show.
If you don't believe that we are in a fight today, you're sleeping under a rock. If you get hit and you lay down and you cry and you fold up in the corner, definitely you will not win the fight. We show up to win. Our culture needs a lot of you young people in here to step up and stand out. There is nothing or no principality, power, division, devil can stop us when we're united. They can only get you when you're divided. When I see the American flag, I see us progressing to something that can be awesome and great. And if you don't plan on winning then, you might as well go on the day.
Ladies and gentlemen, ladies, welcome back to another Officer Tatum show. Let's talk about the trade war. Donald Trump, I think, is a man that understands what's going on, and he has a strategic plan to help America get to a great place. For all of the naysayers that are out here talking crazy about Trump and tariffs, can you take a back seat for a minute and let the real men step to the front? Because this is what we voted for. We didn't vote for everything to be easy. We didn't vote for everything to be so cushioned for you. This country wasn't built on easy cushion stuff. People had to work hard. People died for this country. And we're going to have to go through some hard times to get back on track. That's a thing. That's something that I got to deal with as a business owner. We do things where we get products from all around the country. All around the world. There are tariffs that's going to affect us. But this is what I signed up for. Because it's not about my company alone. It's not about being selfish. It's about what's best for America as a whole. So let's play the clip, and then we're going to get into Donald Trump's strategic plan. Roll it.
Donald Trump's tariffs plan is going perfectly. Since announcing the tariffs, things across the globe have moved fast. Initially, it was shock, and then anger. And now world leaders are entering the phase of acceptance. Some countries like Israel, Taiwan, and Cambodia took steps to cut tariffs on US imports immediately in order to maintain a close relationship with their number one ally. But the EU took a different approach, and it seems as though they have regretted it. The EU initially came out staunchly against Trump's tariffs, ready to fight and pull all investment out of America.
President Trump's announcement of universal tariffs on the whole world, including the European Union, is a major blow to the world economy. I deeply regret this choice. Let's be clear-eyed about the immense consequences. The global economy will massively suffer. Uncertainty will spiral and trigger the rise of further protectionism. The consequences will be dire for millions of people around the globe. The costs of doing business with the United States will drastically increase. And what is more, there seems to be no order in the disorder, no clear path through the complexity and chaos that is being created as all US trading partners are hit. We are prepared to respond. We are already finalizing the first package of countermeasures in response to tariffs on steel. And we're now preparing for further countermeasures to protect our interests and our businesses if negotiations fail.
But it only took a couple of days.
You hear what she said, right? This is why Donald Trump is the man. These people, Canada did it. They come out strong, an embarrassment to their country when your leader comes out and says what they say and talking real tough against the United States and Donald Trump. And then they go and turn a 180 and give him everything he wanted. Canadian Prime Minister did the exact same thing a while ago. He came out and said all this stuff about Trump and there's going to be hell to pay. I think it was 24 hours later. He come back and say, we're going to put troops on the border. He sent a letter and all that. Why y'all not trusting Trump? He know what he doing. The man is the master of negotiations. Now, you heard the EU lady, which I don't know why they put that woman in charge, to say anything. She came out tough. Roll the clip.
For a monumental backflip to occur, with President of the EU Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, now offering 0 for 0 tariffs with the US.
We stand ready to negotiate with the United States. Indeed, we have offered 0 for 0 tariffs for industrial goods, as we have successfully done with many other trading partners, because Europe is always ready for a good deal, so we keep it on the table. But we are also prepared to respond through countermeasures and defend our interests.
Online commentators applauded the move, saying, "The European Union folds, Trump wins." EU President Ursula von der Leyen says the EU will negotiate down the tariffs it has previously placed on the US. Massive win for President Trump. This commentator agrees, saying the EU has surrendered to Trump's tariffs. Von der Leyen now seeking 0 for 0 trade deal with the US. Last week, they were seeking an alliance with other countries to take down the US economy. When they realized tariffs would cost them 3 trillion euros, Trump wins.
Hold on. Are you shocked? I'm not shocked. This is what Trump is doing. I don't understand why people are not understanding this. I don't get, unless you just hate Trump or you're a coward. Because cowards, as soon as the pressure's on, they abandon ship. Those are the cowards. And the other people just hate Trump, so no matter what he do, they're going to hate him. Donald Trump is imposing these tariffs on people in a strategic way to get our tariffs down, which means we impose the tariff. We see what they want to do about it. Because Donald Trump knows we have leverage over 99% of these countries. China may be the only one that we still got to struggle with. But he put the tariffs in place and see how they react. They come out and say crazy stuff, tanks the market. Then they come back, and once they realize we can't jump on the bandwagon with you, we all going to go down. Donald Trump has leverage. He know what he's doing. Then they got to come back to the negotiation table and go 0 to 0. But we don't expect everybody to go 0 to 0. All we want to do ultimately is say, we'll back off the tariffs if you come down on the tariffs. If Donald Trump strategically accomplishes us getting a net positive and lowering tariffs across the globe, we won. We won. If you look at all the tariffs and you recalculate them after Donald Trump's tariff war, and we pay lower tariffs overall through negotiations and strategies, we won. All right, let's go to the next video. And I just want to point out a few. People who are already jumping on board. People that have proposed 0 for 0, just so you know. The EU, which is that lady right there, Israel, Taiwan, Vietnam, Zimbabwe, and Argentina. 0 for 0. There's another 70. Well, how many we got on here? There's another. Let's see how many of them on here. I had them on here. Why don't I see it? Oh, maybe it's on the first page. There's another 60 to 70 countries that have approached the United States of America to negotiate as of April the 8th. Go on past her because we already heard her. Roll it.
Larry, I can tell you that there are 50, 60, maybe almost 70 countries now who have approached us. So it's going to be a busy April, May, maybe into June. And Japan is a very important military ally. They're a very important economic ally. And the U.S. has a lot of history with them. So I would expect that Japan's going to get priority just because they came forward very quickly. But it's going to be very busy. And if President Trump, again, gave himself maximum negotiating leverage, and just when he achieved the maximum leverage, he's willing to start talking.
Boom. One thing is we cannot forget China, though. So before I end this conversation, we have to talk about China. China is saying they're going to fight. Now, they always say they want to fight because they want to see what Trump is going to do, right? Hey, big bank take little bank. They want to see what Trump is going to do. So, of course, in front of the world, they're like, we're going to fight to the end. They don't really want to fight with us either. People act like China is looking for a fight with us. Like, oh, yeah, we can tank our economy. We're going to screw ourselves over. America's going to be, in the next, 10 years, they're going to be an industry leader in some of the things that we import for them. They're very capable of doing it. All they got to do is release restrictions, and they'll be prioritizing things in their own country that we've been doing for them for years, decades. Do we really want that fight? No, they're going to posture up because they need Trump to. See, people don't understand negotiation, which is crazy to me. It's like, in the negotiation, you put out your best number. You don't think you're going to get the number. But if they capitulate, you do get the number. For instance, if I was going to sell something to somebody or sell a service, you start out at a high number. You do your research. You're reasonable. You're believable. You have a negotiation strategy. You got to know where your leverage is at. And you say, look, I want $5 million. I'm starting at $5 million. I'm okay with getting $2 million. But I'm going to go to $5 million. They don't need to know where I'm okay at. They don't need to know where I'm willing to come down to. My team knows. But I'm telling them $5 million. Because if they go down to $4 million, you're $2 million above where I really want to be in the first place. I'm not going to start at $2 million if I want $2 million as my bottom. I'm going to start at $5 million. Because you may be able to, you feel like you've negotiated a good strategy, you get down to $2 million and we made a compromise. That's where I wanted to be in the first place. So I'm going to start here. We're going to get to where I wanted to be the whole time. And you think we won. You think you won, and you think we negotiated something for you. You really negotiated me at my real number. That's how negotiations work. Donald Trump says what he says. They're not just going to say, okay, it's time for us to respond. They're going to put a tactic forward to try to challenge Donald Trump and see what he does. And then they're going to go back and forth and see who buzzed the first. And I can make a prediction right now. The United States and China are going to come to a conclusion. And all of this tough talk about fighting to the end, we're both going to budge. We need each other economically. So they said they're going to fight. They called the terrorist bullying in violation of trading rules. They said they're going to vow to the end against the United States pressure to reject blackmail. They're going to impose 34% tariffs on all U.S. goods effective April the 10th after U.S. added 34% to Chinese goods, totaling 54%. Let's see what happens by April the 10th. How much you want to bet we have a deal? How much you want to bet the United States and China are going to move the number by April the 10th? But the left is Donald Trump. The stock market. The stock market is always volatile. You guys okay when it's volatile on the way up? When the tech stock was going out of the roof, y'all okay with volatility? It's volatile all the time. That's why you put your money in there and you just leave it. Anyway, let's go to the next story. Andrew Schultz, who's one of my favorites. I missed this clip. Andrew Schultz. Well, we could probably start with this clip because this is where all the criticism started. But I missed this clip when I covered Andrew Schultz the last time because he was on Ryan Clark's show I forget the name of their show. Pivot. Yeah, it's Pivot right here. The Pivot Podcast. So Ryan Clark criticized Andrew Schultz for the conversation that was had on this podcast here, which is Andrew Schultz. I think it's Andrew Schultz podcast, and the two guys that are sitting next to Andrew Schultz with the white shirts on, they have a podcast, and they made a joke about black women, and Ryan Clark, who's a hypocrite, and he's finna get embarrassed to no end by Andrew Schultz. But let's play this clip so you can see where it all started from, and then you're gonna hear the response from Andrew Schultz. Roll the clip.
Wait, what is the black girlfriend effect? This is
You don't know
You
about
just
this.
glow up the other culture.
Yeah, so you'll see a guy who's had a black girlfriend, all of a sudden he's got buzz cut, like
Yeah,
clean
you-
shape up.
Yeah.
Glows up, bro.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
They shave their hair because they start losing it. Because they're so stressed being around this black girl complaining about it all the time. That's why they gotta shave their
Nah,
hair.
bro. White guys with black girlfriends,
They grow a beard
They step their
because
dick
there's
up.
more cushion when they get slapped the out of them.
That's hilarious.
Now, it's a joke. They're telling jokes. They're laughing. It's a joke. Stereotypical things that people complain about black women doing. They make a joke on a podcast from a comedian. I don't know if you guys know, but Andrew Schultz is a comedian. He had a Netflix stand-up show. He's one of the biggest comedians in the country. But you know, the disingenuous black folks, they disingenuous. They can talk about white people all day long. They can joke about white people all day long. But let a white man say a single joke and then say it's a joke and they get mad. Listen to Ryan Clark's criticism of Andrew Schultz, clip 16. I want y'all to see this. Listen to this fool. Y'all heard what Andrew Schultz said. The two dummies who came on the Andrew Schultz podcast apologized to their audience and they got all this backlash from black women. And then because Ryan Clark is a fake social justice warrior, and when I call him this is because he's too grown to be this silly. This is what he says. Roll it.
The thing about what Andrew said, though, that I disagree with was that I was speaking on what he did to gain clout. No one in the world defends black women to gain clout. Most of the time, the people defending black women are black women. What people do most times is what Andrew did. What people do most times is what the two young podcasters did. They laugh and they make jokes and they disrespect. And I get for Andrew, he said it was said in jest, and that's fine. That's why what I said, you know, he made it a 10-minute soliloquy when he talked to Charlamagne. It was 5 minutes. 20 seconds was about Andrew Schultz. The beginning to set up what I was going to say was, here's what Andrew Schultz says. Now let me give you my experience. See, my issue is he has an issue with me talking about what he said when it's cool to make jokes. It's cool to make them the butt of those jokes, but it's not cool for me to share my good experiences with black women. It's not cool for me to give you the historic view of what black women have done in support of black men. To me, make that make sense. Why is it corny for me to now respond to this in defense of black women when I'm getting sent your clip with people asking me, what do you think about this? When I'm walking around my house every day looking at black women who would give their lives for me. When I was raised by one that would give their life for me. That's not corny. That's not clout chasing. I'm not looking for friends. I'm not looking to people.
It is corny. It is corny. The man told a joke. He did it in jest. And now you got to defend black. You don't need to defend black women. They're not little dogs that can't speak for themselves. Every black woman ain't good. And every black woman ain't bad. You don't need to defend them. The ones that are stupid are the ones he's talking about. If you got good experiences, he clearly not talking about black women who are good. Even not in jest. But you feel you need to defend black women. Why white men don't think they need to defend white women? Because they understand that people joking. And they don't project their own insecurities. You know black women they struggling. That's why you feel you need to defend them. White people can compartmentalize this and say, yeah, there's a bunch of white women that ain't nothing. And then there's good white women like my mama. I don't need to defend that. It's common sense. Finish it.
For people to push me up on a pedestal. And clearly, if you still are responding about what I said, I don't need no clout either, right? Because I'm in a space where y'all can already hear me. And so to me, I don't think that it was what he made it out to be. And the larger problem I had was he claimed on, and I talked to Shannon on the phone, and I put it on a comment, he claimed that I said he would say the N-word, and that's not true. He told me I should have been speaking about those brothers, and I was, because I said it's brothers like that that allow people to be comfortable enough to make excuses as to why they disrespect black people and black women. And by the time I got to the end of it, because I went back and rewatched it, I wanted it to be very clear that these are my experiences and the experience of others, even though yours may be different. We've since...
Hold on. I'm tired of listening to him. Just know it's finna get worse because this is just the beginning of him saying something stupid. Now, let's play Andrew Schultz on Shannon Sharp's show. I'm going to try to play it quickly because I want y'all to get to the part where Andrew Schultz just blow him out of the water. Roll the clip.
About the black girl effect.
Yeah.
So tell me how did that conversation come about?
Yeah.
And then tell me what you were thinking when you said what you said.
So what was the black girlfriend effect is essentially like when a white guy dates a black girl, he starts to glow up. He like starts to like look better and he gets like a beard and a shape up and he's just like fine. And I've heard of the black girlfriend effect, obviously. So what was he saying it, referencing it? It was like Travis Kelce or something like that.
Yeah, I think because he was saying they glow up, they start to look different, they get beards and things like that. And I think you said but they go bald because
that's what I was like. So for me, I'm like, this is a comedy podcast. I'm like making a joke. First of all, I hate explaining jokes. I can't believe I'm even doing this. It's like so stupid. But so I'm like, what is the opposite take?
Right.
A lot of times in comedy, the opposite take is the funny thing.
Look at the other side.
So you go the other side and you try to defend the indefensible or whatever it is. This is what I've done my entire career. So the opposite take is, no, actually the reason why they're shaping up their hair because they're going bald, because they're stressed out, they're going to beards, so there's more padding in case they get slapped.
Right.
It's just the opposite take of the black girlfriend effect being, you look so much better.
Right.
It's really not that sophisticated. But they went on another podcast and said they didn't think that girls in Atlanta were pretty. So black women in Atlanta were very offended by these two English dudes, black dudes, that were basically calling girls in Atlanta ugly. This is like the hub of black culture in America. And you're just going to call the black women ugly. So they were ripping them. And then they started ripping them for laughing at my joke. So it wasn't really about what I said. It was, look how corny these guys are. And they are corny. Look how corny these guys are. Here's another example of their corniness. Right? And then Ryan Clark took a break from posting pictures of his outfits on Instagram to do a whole soliloquy.
Man, why you on RC, man? You need to have a conversation. Ryan's a good dude, man.
No, I know. Everybody tells me he's a good dude. But he did that, and he it just felt like it was all clout. And he tried to make it this big thing, and he's like, by the end of it, he's like, he's one of these guys that like wants to say the N-word but doesn't. And I was like, what the is going on? Like, what are we even talking about?
Right.
The story is about those guys who insulted the black women, and laughing at that joke. And then he kind of reframed it and then made it about me.
All right, now let's listen to Andrew Schultz call out Ryan Clark. Hold on, this is the beautiful part. I wish I'd have played this at the beginning. Y'all probably didn't want to watch all that. But I had to put the context here. I didn't watch the full thing because it was so cringy on Ryan Clark's part. I couldn't stomach it. But we're going to watch it together, the full thing. This is the epitome of black people not being held accountable for their own stupidity they do. They'll point the finger at the white man, but they doing worse in their own space. You know what I'm talking about. Roll the clip.
Like, I'll tell you what you want to know what my initial reaction is, which I think is kind of unfair, but my initial reaction was when I saw you guys talking about it, and I was like, okay, he wants to protect black women, and this is very important. And then I looked on every one of the episodes that you had to see if there was any guys on here that beat up black women. And there were. and I looked to see if you guys addressed it on the pod, and you didn't.
Okay.
Now, I also saw you guys had the episode with DeAndre's mom talking about domestic violence. So I was like, okay, this is good and this is powerful, this is important. But my knee-jerk reaction was, man, I get a whole section that's not even part of an episode, and these guys who we know have actually, like, for like a joke, and these guys who have actually like hurt black women and convicted, not allegations, because I don't go off of allegations, I go off of conviction. Everybody can get an allegation, it means nothing. And then these guys, they don't get anything. So in that moment, I was like, this feels like a clout play. It doesn't feel like the highest priority is protecting these women. So that was my initial reaction.
So I'm gonna say this.
Yeah.
We have had people on this show that have been convicted for domestic violence that have pulled it out of the show.
That pulled it out of
that I have asked about it.
Oh, and then
that
they're
have-
like, I don't want it on the show.
Yeah, and I do, because people come on our show voluntarily.
Of course.
I do ask those questions in respectful ways. Right? I'm not, hey man, you're a woman beater, but I will say, like, in one of the instances that was pulled, I said, look, you were convicted of something that no man wants attached to his name.
Amen.
And they answered it. We talked to their people. I was like, man, the answer was good, like, and they pulled it out of the show. So we've had that happen. We also had an instance with one of our guests who was talking about sexual assault, and he talked about it in a way that almost said that, okay, how do we blame the women? And I addressed that as well.
Yeah.
So as far as for me, I try to address it in every opportunity
Right.
that I get a chance to with them.
Yeah.
I try to ask them questions in ways that they get to tell their side of the story.
Yeah.
When they sit with us, I do not bash them over the head with it, condemn them, or judge them in the moment.
Yeah.
I do try to have a conversation about it.
We're all like hypocrites. Like nobody's perfect. Do you know what I mean? Like I've had people on the pod, like I've had a president on the podcast. Like nobody's killed more people than a president. You know what I mean? Like anybody who sat down, if you sat down with Obama, hundreds of thousands of people are dead because of decisions that he thought were in the best interests of America, right? Same thing if you sat down with Clinton, you sat down with anybody, right? Like I did a buddy of mine's podcast, and he brought up the fact that I had Alex Jones on my podcast. He did one of the most heinous things in history, where he said that those kids were faking it at that
Most
school
heinous.
shooting. Remember that? Like that's a
Sandy Hook?
heinous, yeah, Sandy Hook. I mean, disgusting, heinous. I had a buddy of mine, I went on his podcast, and he was like, yeah, I can't believe you did that. That was like so f***ed up, like what he did to those kids. And I was like, you visited the Pope. You know what I mean? Like, they were protecting people f***ing kids. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you had the opportunity to go meet them, and you're like, I'll do that. And like, they were literally protecting priests that were having sex with children. Like, I can't think of any. Like, so we can always find the moral equivalency or the moral high ground, which was a thing that I did with you guys, but I hesitated to like go out and talk about that publicly. This is why I did, is because the point of that is not to protect those women or to protect the children. The point of that is to make you feel bad or me feel good. And now we're using victims as a tool. I don't want to do that.
he was nice about it, but this is the hypocrisy. And it's unfortunate because I think it's one-sided a lot of the times. Maybe because that's just what I see on my feed. But, quit grandstanding and acting like you holier than thou when it comes to white people doing stuff against black people, because black people should be the only ones talking about black people, but they don't talk about black people at all. Except me, and then I look like an Uncle Tom Coon sellout because I'm actually saying things that nobody else wants to say that are black. That's just like a cop. When cops be cutting up and doing stuff, it's up to people who are cops to give the interpretation properly. But if cops never give a fair interpretation, what do we have out there? Other people who are not cops having to overcompensate and say something. Because you got to call out cops when they doing bad things too, as a cop. And you got to call them out when they were getting falsely accused. Same thing with black people. If a black person did something and they right and they're getting falsely accused, I'm going to stand up for that person. If a black person doing something wrong, then I'm going to call them out. Wrong is wrong. But the problem is some people don't ever want to be called wrong. All right, let's go to this donut place, Dunkin' Donuts security. And when you live in the hood, This is what you get. Roll the clip.
How they taking money at Dunkin' Donuts, y'all? Like, come on, man. What is this?
It's crazy.
Straight bulletproof glass through the whole thing, man.
Now, instead of taking accountability, which I don't know if he's doing this for clout or not, you know, if you live in the hood, how many times this Dunkin' Donuts been robbed at gunpoint. You know, that's why they got that stuff there. But instead of you being mad at them thugs for robbing this place, you mad at the establishment for protecting their workers, whom are black. Roll the clip.
I mean, you can't even breathe on these people. Look how sealed this is. This is a professional seal. Like, you can't even talk to these people barely.
A black person.
Getting up every day and seeing something like this, bro, that do something to your mental up here. It tell you, like, this how you feed animals in a zoo, gang. Like, that's pretty much what it's telling your mentality. Like, I did say I don't trust you. You feel what I'm saying? At what point do we be like, we tired of getting treated like animals, tired of getting treated like this? Like, bro, like, you telling me I can't even hand you my money, gang? Like, bro, like, the people who be owning these don't be from the community. They don't be from the city. They don't. You grow up, imagine you see this every day for your whole life. And then you go to someplace else and you see them handing the money. You gonna think something wrong with you, gang. Like, it's crazy mentality.
Well, you know how you eliminate feeling like an animal? Stop being animalistic. And I'm not saying every person in the community is doing it, but you got to be real and say, we got to do better than this, man. I go over the other side of town and they handed money over. And then I'm over here and we got to go through a cage. I remember when I go to shop over here where I live, there ain't no locks on stuff. You go down south in South Phoenix, you can't get toothpaste without a lock on it. Why is that? Because they black? No. Because they Mexican? No. Because people thugging. They thugging. They stealing. They're crooks. And this is in the Inglewood neighborhood in Chicago. And if you know anything about Inglewood, it's violent. Let me just give you some stats. Listen, violent crime rate around 18 incidents per 1,000 people, which is murder, assault, robbery, etc. The property crime rate is about 125 incidents per 1,000 people. The total crime is roughly 1 in 23 residents affected annually. The murder rate is estimated 3.3 murders per every 1,000 people. That's 10 times higher than the safest cities in Chicago. 10 times more dangerous. And look at this, the trend. Inglewood's crime stayed high despite citywide homicide drops in 2024. Go look up. I hate that this is a reality. Wait till there's 4th of July and then come back. And we're going to come back and address how many shootings happen in the south side of Chicago or in what's this place called? Inglewood. Let's see how many shootings happen and then you're going to see why they got to put bars and stars on everything. All right, let's get to Scott Jennings. It's crazy to me, man. Let me just tell y'all, I'm just going off of stuff that catch my attention. And it seems to always be people of the melanin. Ryan Clark was one. I'm not even trying to talk about black people. Ryan Clark is one. This guy complaining about being in the most dangerous neighborhood in Chicago, about them having the slide money through a protective glass. And then Scott Jennings is on here. And guess who's defending immigration? Guess who's silly as a mother? This guy. Roll the clip.
That's not fair. And it can happen to anybody.
Why?
And if we don't stop it now, the scope will get bigger, and then it will happen to you, and then you'll have a problem with it.
I think also you're conflating legal American citizens with people who came here illegally. We do this all the time in these debates. And I think what the administration is trying to do is be as aggressive as possible at deporting different kinds of populations. One, people who've committed heinous, violent crimes. Number two, people that were violent before they came here. Number three, anyone who came here illegally. I mean, look, I'm sorry, but if you came here illegally, no matter how well-intentioned you were, there's probably a decent chance you're going to be sent back. And that's what the administration clearly communicated to the American people in the election. They overwhelmingly voted for it, and it's not particularly a controversial matter.
And just so you guys know, just in case you weren't paying attention to the news, I did it for you. Now, shout out to Jordan. She's my researcher. She did it for us, okay? So the president won the Supreme Court ruling to continue raid deportations on illegal immigrants. So Supreme Court had ruled that what Donald Trump is doing is constitutionally protected and is legal. What rule were they basing this ruling on? And that is the Alien Enemies Act. It originated in 1798 as part of the Alien and Sedition Act. The purpose is to let the president determine or detain, move, or deport non-citizens from hostile countries. So countries that's run by cartel, countries that have a vested interest in destabilizing the United States of America, and so on and so forth. The last time it was used was during declared war, or the way it's used is during a declared war, or if a foreign group threatens an invasion, which is exactly the government in some of these countries. I think Venezuela is one of them. Government is working with these gangs to send them to the United States of America. That follows under the deporting non-citizens from hostile countries. Or going back, it's the foreign groups threatening an invasion. All right, let's go down to the Supreme Court ruling. The Supreme Court ruling on April the 7th, 2025, Supreme Court ruled 5-4 to allow Trump to use this act. Trump invoked it on March the 15th to deport Valenzuela. I trained a guy named Valenzuela. Venezuelan gangs, Tren de Aragua, members calling them invaders. Donald Trump won. These people are wrong. And when I go to the University of Texas on Thursday, so if y'all in Austin, Texas, I'll see you there. University of Texas on Thursday, when they bring up all this stupid stuff about Donald Trump is breaking the law, the Constitution, the Supreme Court ruled. And then they're going to get mad and say, but the Supreme Court, not the Supreme Court rule. Y'all was bragging about the Supreme Court telling them he couldn't send people to wherever he was sending them. What was that place? He was El Salvador. Y'all said Supreme Court said he couldn't do it. Now Supreme Court said he can. Now what y'all gonna say? All right, let's get to the next story. White House. Oh no, it says from White House to white noise. White House to white noise. Michelle Obama's podcast is trash. I think I got a clip. Do I got a clip? Yeah, right here. Which one is it? Hold on, before y'all say something. I wanted that clip from the kid that I posted. He was showing her YouTube views. Is that this clip? Maybe I posted on Instagram. He's literally showing their YouTube views. Matter of fact, maybe we should go to their YouTube channel. But he was looking at the likes and dislikes on their YouTube channel. So just so you know, their YouTube viewership from the first episode was 335,000. Now it's 63,000 by the sixth episode. And you got to think, this is the first lady of the most popular president in his time, the first black president in history. And her podcast is trash. Let me just add this on here. Let me add some stank on it. He did I put it in the chat or I shared it on my story? It was a young man, a black kid. He always posting really good stuff. Let's see if I got it on there. No, that's me baptizing my son. Let me see if I can find it on here real quick. Did I send it? I can't remember his name either, man. He's a cool dude. I always share his content. But he went through and just embarrassed them. Yeah, I don't think I shared it in there. For some reason, I liked it. Maybe we should go to their YouTube channel after this clip. We'll go to their YouTube channel because I want you to see how incredibly embarrassing these podcast views are. I think one of their episodes got 3,000 views. Let's put this in perspective real quick. Women, I love y'all. Y'all are the salt of the earth. Do you know what salt of the earth is? When you put some salt on something, it brings that flavor out of it. Y'all are the salt of the earth. But women, quit. Stay in your lane, gangster. Michelle Obama, you are only popular because of Barack Obama. You are not popular outside of your husband. The only reason people know who you are is because of Barack Obama. You don't have any charisma or nothing outside of being the wife of the first black president. Biracial president. He ain't really even mixed. So just stay in your lane, gangster. This is an example. Nobody want to hear you and your gay brother talk on a podcast about relationships. Ma'am, you married. Well, I don't know. Are they still married? Allegedly, you married. Man, if you did a podcast with Obama, I'd look at it. I want to see what y'all got to talk about. It's a husband and wife. Maybe this is a unique perspective from Barack Obama and Michelle being everyday folks, talking about their life, talking about their children, talking about what it's like to be an American outside of the confines of being the president and all the criticism that goes along with it. I'd tune into an episode if Barack Obama was on there. But allegedly, they going through a divorce because this woman probably thinks she don't need Barack. This is what happened to women sometimes. Not every woman, because y'all are perfect that's watching this. I'm talking about the woman down the street with that Tesla and they wear that mask in her car. Is that both people need to be humbled. A man has to understand that he wouldn't be where he's at today if it wasn't for his wife. Women, you have to understand that you wouldn't be where you at if you wasn't for your husband. Don't go off and try to start a podcast because you got a little bit of fame. Don't go off and be acting like you done it all by yourself and without your wife. Y'all need to quit that. That's messy. That's why y'all mad and miserable and divorcing and then you use somebody's rental car. Be humble enough to realize that God appreciates the union and blesses the union. You wouldn't get these blessings that you've been blessed with outside of the person you married because God blessed y'all for coming together. All right, let's go to that YouTube channel. We'll play this clip and then let's go to the YouTube channel. Roll it.
Hey, TikTok, it's Michelle Obama, and I'm here with my big brother, Craig.
Hey, everybody.
We're here
Craig
because
like
we're excited to announce the launch of our new podcast called IMO with Michelle Obama and Craig Robinson.
And we just posted the trailer if you want to check it out.
Check it out. Thanks, you guys. See you soon.
All right, let's go to that YouTube channel, bro. That's the corniest thing I ever seen in my life. Why she pick him? Michelle could have picked another famous woman in the industry. She picked her brother that looked like he cross-dressed and drag queened with RuPaul. And nothing against the brother. I don't know him. I'm just saying what he looked like. That don't compel nobody to want to watch this. But let's look at these views. Can we zoom this in a little bit? We'll try to zoom it. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Let's zoom that in tighter, 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 right there. This woman is the first lady, the first black first lady ever in history of the greatest country to ever exist. Go up to the top. Look at how many subscribers they got. Scroll it up. They got 69,000 subscribers. She has tens of millions of people following her on TikTok, Instagram, wherever they at. Tens of millions. Let me see. Brett Cooper left the Daily Wire. And before she posted a single video, she had like 900,000 subscribers. Candace Owens left the Daily Wire. And I think she had like 2 million views on her first podcast. She literally has hundreds of thousands of people watching her live every day. Michelle Obama, you would think, would be a much bigger icon than Candace Owens and Brett Cooper. Clearly she ain't. Let's look at these views though. Maybe you can zoom it in a little more. All right, go down. Can we go side to side? Yeah, go down. Let's look at that video that was posted 5 days ago. Got 5,000 views. A video that was posted 6 days ago got 67,000 views. The one before that got 6,000 views. The one before that got 3,000 views in 11 days. 3,000 views in 11 days? I could start a YouTube channel right now and put my big toe on it and do like this and I'll get 3,000 views. Maybe a little more. People like feet. They crazy. My feet ain't that cute though. But this is what they doing. Go down. They got celebrities. They I don't know who they interviewing. They interviewing all these people. That dude up there they interviewed is pretty popular. I don't know his name, but he popular. Interviewing Keke Palmer. Keke Palmer is popular. All right, I think we've seen what we need to see. So Michelle, quit acting like they want to see you. They want to see Barack Obama. They want to see Barack Insane Obama. All right, let's go to Jasmine Crockett. It's another black person. Are y'all setting me up or what, bro? Yes. It's another black person. We started out where I was going to talk about the stabbing thing, which is a black person. Then we talk about the trade deals that involve black people. Andrew Schultz, Ryan Clark, black person. Scott Jennings embarrassing that lawyer, black person. Michelle Obama trash podcast, black person. Jasmine Crockett. Come on to the show. Roll it.
So I had to go around the country and educate people about what immigrants do for this country, or the fact that we are a country of immigrants.
Right.
The fact is, ain't none of y'all trying to go and farm right now. Okay, so I'm lying. Raise your hands. You're not. We done picking cotton. We are. You can't pay us enough to find a plantation. I know that's right.
That's why y'all broke down. That's why your community's terrible now. The attitude to say, you know how stupid this sound? I hate that people that look like me act like this. Where do we get so entitled? Y'all know y'all ain't trying to go farm your own meals. You're not trying to have sustainable resources for your family and your community. What kind of black people are you? You think you think somebody's putting you down, or it's beneath you to farm your own land? It's beneath you to foster or develop your own crops, to feed not only your family, but sustainably feed the country? You think that's beneath you? Why? You rather be on food stamps and getting EBT than to go out there and work for some money? That's why y'all, where you at? And Hispanics ain't entitled. Not all of them. Some of them probably are. But they coming off the boat. They can't speak English. And they out there working. Ain't saying nothing. Jorge, can you do that? See. Jorge out there working. He built this whole community over here. Them Mexicans then built all this. And these are multi-million-dollar houses around my headquarters. I mean, up the street, they got $20 million houses. I see nothing but Mexicans out here. They out here working, building all of these beautiful houses out here. But y'all too good to build up beautiful houses and have a name for yourself. Only Jasmine Crockett and them people like that. There's a difference between black people and N-words. The Jasmine Crockett type black people are N-words. People like me and whoever watching this, we reasonable. We not that silly. I'll get out there and work. It's not a pejorative or a negative thing for you to work for a living, especially when the Mexicans are doing it and they're having more kids than y'all, because y'all up at Planned Parenthood doing drive-by shootings, going to prison. A large population of black people are getting hurt. And the Mexicans, they doubling in population every year, to the point where your party that you vote 90% for is speaking Spanish at their debates. Dumungado, endingado, inglese, enseñado. Man, they ain't worry about black people, man. They ain't do nothing for y'all. They not even proposing nothing for black people. Reparations. They not finna pay you no reparations. They've been talking about that for 200,000 years. And they got, y'all had Joe Biden in office and Kamala Harris, the first black, mixed, I don't know what she is. But to the people of the melanin, the first black vice president. And what she do for you? What did she propose to do for you? What did she propose to do for you when she ran for president? Not a mother thing. All right. Jasmine Crockett crap. Let's play a last clip. I think it's a Vert clip on here. Oh, this is old school. This is a throwback from 2015. Oh, this is that girl that, all right, this is why this makes sense. Jasmine Crockett said, we ain't picking cotton, insinuating that Mexicans are picking cotton. They slaves. What else can they do? So every illegal alien's over here picking cotton. They can't get a job like everybody. They can't work nowhere else. They got to be in the field. That's the prejudice and racism that black people think towards Mexicans. I mean, look at her. Look at Kelly Osbourne. Look what she said. Who gonna clean our toilets? Go to roll the clip.
Kick every Latino out of this country, then who is going to be cleaning your toilet, Donald Trump?
Oh, that's no.
In the sense that you know what I mean. Like when I'm saying
there's
that
there's more jobs to be
in LA, they always
but
they
Latinos are not only the only people
I didn't mean it
doing
like that. Come on, no, I would never mean it like that.
Okay,
like, I'm not part of this argument. With
I think what you're saying is that Trump himself
needs to look
probably relies on a lot of these people that he's insulting. I think.
Oops. Oh, no, I didn't mean like, no, this is how you view Mexicans. They just cleaning toilets at the Trump. That's all they can do. They ain't cooking nothing. They can't cook nothing. They can't serve the table. They can't greet at the door. What do you think? They only can cook, they only can clean a toilet bowl? Y'all tripping. That's how y'all really feel. All right, let's go to this deranged leftist. Hold on, let me come back to that. Y'all gave me another one. Ja Morant. I'm not trying to. Can y'all send me some stories that ain't got to do with black people? Because they mad at me, but I'm just covering stuff. Look at the Ja Morant thing. And just forget he's black. Just forget all the people that I'm talking about is black. Just forget they black. But, bruh, I think somebody was trying to sign him to like a $200 million contract. And Ja Morant throwing up gang signs at his basketball game with a gun at a strip club. Just let's act like he white. Ja Morant is white. That make you feel better? Ain't it crazy that a man that came from where he came from, making all this money, want to be a gangster? Why? Why do you want to be a gangster? He pulled a gun on a minor and almost went to jail over that, over a basketball game at his house. I think he pistol whipped him. Gun on a live stream. He on the thing, riding in a Jeep, his homeboy filming. He got a gun in his lap. You live around nothing but white folk. Why you carrying a gun? You got enough money to be driving in a car and have security following behind you with an arsenal. Roll the clip.
The big issue right now with the Grizzlies is the amount of threes they're allowing. It just seems like they're kind of getting beat up on that end. The other issue is something that we saw last night where Steph was getting up and back with words, and then also this motion from Ja Morant. You see Buddy Hield on the left also making that motion. It caught the eyes of a lot of people, including Draymond Green, because of Ja's history off the court. The NBA has also released a statement after this happened saying they've issued warnings. No further penalties to the Grizzlies' Ja Morant Warriors' Buddy Hield, along with both teams for gestures on Tuesday night. The league has ruled the celebrations were not intended to be violent in nature, but inappropriate and should refrain. That coming from Shams Charania.
Hold the phone.
Because you are a cop, I'll go to you.
Hold the phone. Ja Morant, I watched his basketball film. That kid is one of the most talented basketball players I've ever seen. That kid's skill level is insane. Why can't somebody tell him, bro, pipe down on this craziness? You not a gangster. You ain't a gangbanger. What does this mean to you? You shooting somebody? Why you shooting somebody? Make it rain on them or something. You ain't gotta be shooting somebody. Then you shooting another brother. That's your whole name. If you shooting another brother, oh, yeah, I'm cool, man. With an AR-15, I'm just gunning them down. Bank account got $100 million in it. You gunning them down. You want to go to jail. You want to go to jail and have Tony on your back when you got $100 million in the bank. Come on, Shaq. What Shaq got?
What do you think?
Because of his past discrepancies
with guns,
he should not be doing that.
However, it's a gesture that a lot of people do. Does he know better? Yes, but I'm not going to go into it he's this and he's that. Listen, Buddy Hield did it. A lot of other people do it. I see people at AAU games do it. It's just one of those NBA ebonic gestures. So it's just a gesture that we sometimes use. But because of his past discrepancies, he should not be doing that. Because my question is, if he didn't have those two incidents and he did that, would we be talking about it? The answer is no. We would not be talking about it.
I agree, Shaq. See, Shaq on to something. At least he was fair. I know they do it. Why though? Why can't we do something prestigious? You know what I'm saying? Why it always got to be gangster and get? I don't get it, man. It's like we gotta like God. Why are young people growing up like this? Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's play the other clip, clip 12.
Over in the Eastern Conference, a game featuring Miami and Ja Morant, who made this 12-foot jumper in the lane.
This kid is amazing.
Lifting the Memphis Grizzlies to a 110-108 win over the Miami Heat. Morant finishes with 30 points for Memphis, which snapped a 4-game slide. However, the story from last night was Morant risking further action from the NBA after mimicking shooting a gun with his finger, despite being issued a warning by the league for making the same gesture earlier in the week. After making a 25-foot three-pointer with 7:51 left in the first quarter, Morant ran back on defense, his right arm fully extended, and his left hand in a gun hose. Morant has a history with firearms. It's well documented. In March of 2023, it started with a video of him at a nightclub holding a gun. Adam Silver ended up suspending him 8 games for the incident. Then, just 2 months later, Morant was seen again in a video brandishing a firearm. Adam Silver came down a little harder, suspending him for the first 25 games of the 2023-24 season. Now, after the game, Morant talked to reporters about the criticism he's faced for making the finger shooting motions, saying, quote, "I'm kind of used to it. I was pretty much a villain for 2 years now. Every little thing. If somebody can say something negative about me, it's going to be out there. So, yeah, I don't care no more." And hey, do you have a problem with Morant going down this path yet again?
Of course I do.
Thank you.
And I hope he's watching. I really, really hope he's watching right now. First of all, when it happened the other night, I tweeted out, "Can we leave the guy alone?" I mean, damn. I mean, he meant no harm. Come on, y'all. Let's stop reaching. Let's stop reaching, okay? And I really, really felt that way. But then the league issued the warning. So now it's not about how I feel, how you feel, how Wendy feels, or whatever. It's about the industry you voluntarily decided to enter, and there's rules and regulations that you have to capitulate to whether you like them or not. And so when you come out in the immediate aftermath of the warning from the NBA and you ignore them, knowing you had an 8-game suspension in 2023 and then a 25-game suspension in 2023, now it's like, my brother, how smart is that? How smart is that? Now, to the league, I would say to you, I want to applaud the league from the standpoint of not doing anything the first go around because they said there was not malintent. And there isn't. We see a lot of different gestures going on in the league. The NFL has banned a lot of it. The NBA, some people feel needs to ban some of it. We get that part, right? And when Josh says he's taken a lot of negativity, that's where he loses me. No, bro, you took a lot of negativity for those 2 suspensions. Prior to that, all anybody talked about was what a superstar that you were, how you were one of the preeminent faces of the
Good. Let's do the gang signs because I want to finish this strong. Let's do the gang signs. Now, this is a Crip, which is another thing. He identifies white. He's a white man, okay? I'm talking about nothing but white people. I'm not even talking about black people today. These are white men, okay? Can we establish that? I don't want nobody being mad at me. You always talk about black people. I identify them as white men, okay? White supremacists. So this is gang violence in the black community is crazy too, which you hardly see white people on TV with tats on their face talking about they represent some set and gang. But listen how gang members are talking about Ja Morant's actions. This is how young, black, successful men that can be generational changers end up dead before they 40 years old, because Ja Morant, who ain't a gangbanger, who ain't in the game like that, who making hundreds of millions and could probably make it a more impactful difference by not only his money, his influence, but his character, he's finna get himself in a pickle with some real gang members that don't care that he's Ja Morant. You come to the hood set tripping, they will smoke you and not tell nobody and do life in prison. They ain't got nothing to lose. Roll the clip.
Allegedly throwing up Crip multiple times.
Oh, 6-0, run it in. You know what's up. He ain't with the gangland like that. You throwing them ends up, that's going to cost you. That's what I was going to say anyway. That's going to cost you anyway. What you want to do, pay the Crips for the rest of your life? Because that's going to cost you. You get what I'm saying? Like, you ain't never been to the 60s. You keep throwing up ends and all that shit. You and throwing up C's and all that. You ain't even from this shit. You ain't even from this shit, no way, shape, or form. Like, when you get put on in Memphis, dead homies. Like, come on, let's be real, cuz. Like, start being real with yourself. You a basketball player, cuz. You want to come step into this field, we can show you a whole lot about this shit. Matter of fact, set up a meeting for me and Ja Morant, since he want to be a Crip. So I bet you he don't never show up. And it's on some friendly shit. I don't got no beef with you, Ja. You like the face of, like, the NBA. You like the new face of the NBA, and you with this, you claim you a part of the culture, man. Be the positive side of the culture like you been. You don't got no felonies. You didn't grow up and all that. You might have smoked some weed or whatever the case is, but come pull up on me. Look, we gonna hang out this summer on the off season. Since you want to be with this, dead homies, I bet you don't be picking up my phone and all that, because our regular life, our regular everyday life, you gonna be scared of, and then you gonna be thinking that we putting you in the middle of that, but we just coming to kick it and all that. Like, you gonna see all this aggression, and you gonna see how we really act, like, you know what I'm saying? But this is just us being normal, no problems or nothing. You're not gonna want to be a part of that, so stop acting like that's what you want to be a part of. When them fades get issued out, when the ops come slide, do you really want to be a part of this? With 200 million? Let me know something. Like, stop throwing that shit up. Like, don't with you. Draymond give back to the community. So it's like, when Draymond do it, like, hey, man, all right, hey, you shouting us out in a positive way, because you over here giving, you give backpacks, you give food. Our kids ain't never benefited off of Ja Morant. What is you throwing that shit up on like, come on, bro. You get what I'm saying? And then you throwing up 60s and you kicking it with, I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Who's your end? Quando Rondo? Who do you know over here? Come on, my boy.
All right. Only reason I'm putting this out here, because I want people to have a glimpse of what's going on in the world. And I'm hoping that some of these young folks are listening to me and they see this video and they feel like they're getting called out, so they change. It's so ridiculous how the complaint is always white people do this, white supremacy, white privilege, the white man holding us back. No, man, you holding you back. $200 million is a lot of money, bruh. And that's just this contract. If you keep playing, you're going to make $500 million. That's not even including endorsements. This is $200 million from the NBA. Bro, you can make $1 billion over your career. But you want to be gangbanging and get killed somewhere because somebody is hypnotized with envy. You think somebody don't want to kill Ja Morant because they feeling like, oh, look at that sucker, man. You know, if I knock him off, I'm going to be famous. And I ain't got nothing to lose. But I kill him, I'm going to be on the news every day. I'm going to be that guy. Everybody going to respect me in the hood that I knocked him off. Y'all don't want to live like this. I think I got one more article. What time is it? I don't remember this one, the one with the deranged liberal. That swastika thing. Oh, that compilation.
This journalist goes and interviews people and they chase him and they're crazy.
We can play this real quick. before we get up out of here. All right, let's play this real quick. This dude named Nick Shirley. Yeah, Nick Shirley. He's a street reporter. And he's going to the March Around the World. I don't know what they fools was doing. But it's funny because I think they are obsessed with Nazism. They're more like, I would never put Nazi stuff on something I'm holding a banner with Nazi stuff. Like, if you just look at that, you're like, are these people supporting Nazis or they're against Nazis? Because everything they have on here is Nazi symbols and swastika and all kind of stuff. Why y'all obsessed with these? They really want to be carrying this stuff, to be honest. Then they want to blame it on Elon. No, you wrote a swastika on that. Somebody made this flag that you carrying around a swastika. Roll the clip.
They're confronting these anti-Trump and anti-Elon Musk protesters, seeing what they're protesting for. Let's see who we can get up here. Wow.
I just want to remind you of protest procedure. Don't film unless it's consent of anyone's faces. And we'd ask if you
We're on public property, though, so we can film.
Are you part of the protest? Are you against?
Of course, I'm here. Hey, easy, dude. You don't have our consent to do this.
Don't touch me.
Don't
touch me!
Whoa.
Don't
easy.
touch me!
I didn't touch you for nothing.
You touched me! Don't touch me!
You want some money? He's touching
Can we
him.
get someone around these people, please?
Elbows. Easy, easy.
Elbows.
Easy,
Elbows.
easy.
No.
Easy.
We're not here to.
Wait.
We're not here for the protest.
Whoa.
Police.
What? Get the police. What did I do?
Don't feed the trolls.
No. Get 'em
Elbows
off.
around.
Elbows around. Holy cow. Don't let me go. Ooh, what are you going to do?
Elbows.
Elbows. Man, we are peaceful.
Elbows.
What the hell is going on out here? Watch, he can't keep running. Okay, what is going on, everybody? Look, we got a crowd coming. Dude, you touched me. Bro, get off me. He's touching me. I know I'm attractive, but I'm not that attractive to be following me like stink on poo. Come on, man, get off me.
Get off the property. Go.
Ma'am,
Go.
stop following me. Bro, what are you doing? Continue
Part
on
of
recording.
security, he's not allowed to be here.
Part of
Do
no
not
security.
engage.
I could have brought a construction vest as well.
I thought you were trying to fight for our country.
I am fighting for our country.
Okay.
You guys get off me.
Zone 5 agitators.
I ain't no agitator.
Yes, you are.
He's the one agitating me. Ma'am, I came in a suit to be respectful for you guys today. Oh, geez. Are you moaning, sir? Stop the moan.
He's riding up on me.
He's riding up
on me. It's not
This
okay.
guy has a mask on.
Fascists here! Fascists here!
Look at. How are you guys doing?
Fascists don't belong here!
How are you doing, ma'am?
It'd be better if Donald Trump wasn't in president.
Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. Grab their microphone. They freak out. Bro, these.
Help! Help! He's hurting me! Help!
You look like a fool. You know that's what you are? A freaking fool. I am. I'm looking professional. Oh my gosh.
All right. I feel like I'm in a Blair Witch Project. I'm getting dizzy over here. These people are so crazy that either they're possessed with a devil, they're hypnotized with hatred, or they got a mental illness, or all three of them. I've been in front of people like this, and why can't they just let him walk around and do what he gonna do? Why do they have to go lock arms and do all this corny, weird stuff? And they want to. It's crazy to me, man. Conservatives got to stop letting them do this to them. I told you this before. I'm okay with you protesting me. You touch me, you're gonna be flying. You're gonna get air. Do not touch people, man. You can yell at them. You can scream. Don't touch people. And these cowards do this to these white people. You know, I'm just saying, I don't like violent stuff unless it's necessary. But y'all got to stop. They got to stop this. Conservative, y'all got to stop letting them do this. They're assaulting you. When you're just walking around and they bumping up against, quit letting them do that. Just quit letting them do it. Call the police, do something. Don't let these people steal your equipment and all that. Let me get out here before I get in trouble. Hey, I love you guys. Let me get the super chats real quick because I got to get on the airport. I got to get on this airplane. Yeah. I'm already like crazy late. I haven't even packed yet. I got to ask my wife to help me pack. All right, let's get it. Jack Russell, thank you so much. Chad O. Jackson, my brother from another mother, man. Thank you so much for the super chat. He says, honest Q, tariffs threaten historically. Tariff threats historically cause nations to comply, but not always. Is there no room to dissent on account that sooner or later the bluff will be called, thus negatively impacting America? ? I'm sorry, Chad, I didn't see this before. But I think that we got to do something. I think if we're completely afraid of ever negotiating, we'll never get anywhere. I think that we're going to come out of this net positively. I am open to people criticizing tariffs because they could go wrong, but they also could go right. But they won't do nothing if we don't give it a try. And so I'm okay with Donald Trump's approach because I'm supporting the man. He said he was going to implement tariffs when we elected him, and we're going to see how this happens. Just because the stock market is becoming volatile because of uncertainty don't mean we should back away from it. I think we need to put the tariffs out there. We've seen people capitulate already. 70 countries want to negotiate. 70 countries want to negotiate. I just named like 8 of them that are proposing a 0-for-0 free trade. So it's fair to say I think Trump is acting in good faith. I think he has an objective that we can all get behind. We'll see where it goes. I don't think he's perfect. I don't think he's God. I don't think he has all the answers. But I'm willing to stand by Trump in this effort to get America on track. And if it goes south, we tried. We did our best. We acted in good faith. But if we don't try something, we're going to get screwed over forever. All right. Appreciate the question, Chad. Let's go down. Fresh cut looking good. B. Tatum. I appreciate it. Anton, thanks so much for the super chat. Mama. Democrats hate the Constitution and Bill of Rights when they can't use it to destroy the right. You go, Tatum. I appreciate it. Josh subject. It's the music at the end of the day. You know, I wonder is it cyclical? Which means that the music is causing the people to act a fool, or is the music a byproduct of what people are going through, and then they just continue to feed into that cycle? Until people in the communities stop playing the victim card, the vendors will need to keep installing cages to keep their business. 1,000%. Let's see. Agape, hi. Wanted to take on your $1,000 challenge. I can't see this. We got to figure this out one day. When you mentioned there's nothing about tithing in the Bible, like you're tithing, but yes, but not neglect to the more important things. Nobody gonna ever win this $1,000 challenge. My objective is, it's not that you can't tithe, it's not that you can't give, it's not that you shouldn't give, it's that you can't go and tell people that it's God ordained for them to tithe 10% of their money. No one tithed money in the Bible ever in the history, even though they tithe, even though they did give 10%, even though they give their first increase. In the New Testament, there's no mandate to tithe money at all, ever in the whole Bible. They all had money. All the way from the beginning, they had an economy. All the way from Jesus' day, they had an economy. They paid Judas with what? Money. Then why didn't the Pharisees and Sadducees give tithe of money when they had money to give? So pastors, stop lying to your congregation and telling them they have to tithe money. It says your increase, your first fruits of what? A person should be able to bring groceries to the church. That's you giving increase. That's you giving 10% of your groceries. You can't do that? No, because the pastor needs your money. They don't want to feed people from the pantry. They want money. That's how they keep the lights on and build a facility and have the smoke coming out the ground. And that's how they can pay that praise and worship leader $100,000 a year. They need your money. But instead of them telling you, we want a church like this is how much we have to raise as a church that's tax deductible, they try to play God into it. You got to give 10% or you're not blessed. How have a man robbed God? Through tithes and offering. They took their stuff to the storehouse. They took food, they took cattle, they took supplies because God ordained specifically what they should do. And I'll say this as well. Show me in the Bible, do you give tithe before or after taxes? Will you give tithes before or after taxes? Where does God clarify how you supposed to give your tithes? Because technically, that money ain't yours. The government got X% of your money. You know what I'm saying? What are you talking about? But if a person decides that I want to honor God by giving them 10% of my money, or 15% of my money, or 5% of my money, or 2% of my money, and you're a cheerful giver, and you decide that this is my commitment to God that I want to do between me and God, then that's totally fine. You want to give 20% of your money, give 20. You want to give 50% of your money, give 50. You should be a cheerful giver. And I'll say this and I'm going to get out of here. Giving in the Bible, they sold everything with Peter, and they gave everything and they shared it amongst each other. They didn't give 10%, they gave everything. The question is, whenever people gave or gave a sacrifice of things to God, and when Jesus was on earth, they gave it to Jesus, what did they do? They gave what they had. They gave what they had. They had a little. And they gave, and God honored that because of their heart, not because how much money they gave. All right. And if you unemployed, how do you give taxes when you're unemployed? What if you ain't making no money? Well, you know, government assistance. How do you give tax? How do you give tithes? Yeah, because God ain't never ordained you to give your money in that form or fashion. But you ain't never going to get $1,000 because I already looked over the entire Bible. You can never find a scenario where it's tied to money. Never. All right, love you guys. I'm out.
Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave. I'm a proud American from my birth to the grave. 47